Houston Astros finally get another win after a 3-game losing streak. They lost yesterday. They lost in another game. They were on a 3-game losing streak, and they lost their first game at home since September. So this was a big blow for the Astros. But the Astros came back in this game, obviously pretty well. Not in the game, in the middle. They came back in the fifth inning like that. The first inning, they still looked pretty weak. They looked like the defeated team that lost against the Rangers those 2 times, and then against the Twins yesterday. But they allowed 3 runs in the first inning, and they scored nothing at the bottom of the first. In the second, the Astros were able to hold off the Minnesota before the Twins, but they weren't able to do anything themselves. They then scored 1 run after keeping Minnesota to nothing still. And in the fourth, they were still falling behind, though. And they looked, honestly, I didn't know if they were going to be able to bring it back. They lost 3 in a row already. They seem to be struggling. But then in the fifth quarter, the 5th inning, sorry, I had football on my mind. I just did a Johnny Manziel thing. The 5th inning, they held Minnesota to 0 runs. They didn't let them score a single run. And then they did 3 runs. They scored 1 to make it 2-3. And then they did Bregman. Yeah, it was Bregman. He scored an RBI, a 2 RBI single, allowing the total in this inning to be 3 runs, giving them the lead. Then, as nothing happened in the 6th inning. Nobody scored. Then in the 7th inning, Minnesota tied it again. So it was a tie, 4-4. But then the Houston Astros, they weren't going to lose this game. They were done on their losing streak. They were showing that they are still the team, a really good team. They were the team that won the 2017 World Series, and they were the team that made it to the AL Championship Championship Series. So they scored 2 runs in the 7th, and then 4 runs in the 8th, and keeping the Minnesota Twins from scoring in the 8th and the 9th, they ended up winning for a total of 4-10. This was a great win, honestly, for the Astros, because it was a very dominant win. They won 10-4. It was another from behind victory that they started scoring in the 5th inning. What they're good at. And they ended the losing streak. So they're right now on a winning streak. Hopefully they can win the next game, win this series, and they continue winning the games. The Astros have been a really dominant team at home, and they've also been really dominant in away as well. They were an all-around dominant team. And as I do believe the Astros can find their stride, because there was a time last season where they were behind as well, where they weren't in first in division. There was a time where they were actually third in division. Not just second, they were third. I think there was another time where they were in fourth. I was actually a little worried, but they were able to find their stride, and they won first. And I think that they're going to be able to do that again here. But instead of finding it later, I think they're going to be finding it much, much sooner. The Houston Astros are not out of this. The Houston Astros are still a really good and dominant team. This is another year where they have a chance at a World Series run.